Couch Guy Sports Podcast, episode 201. Jared Scally, Alan Hegan. No Nick this week, is what it is. I missed episode 200, so I can't be that mad that he's out on 201. At least he made the milestone. Man.
He did.
Alan,
Jared.
hello.
Hi, Jared.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. I missed you on Friday.
Yeah, well, somebody didn't want to record Into the Triangle, so me and Zach had to do it.
Let's not go there. You even in our episode were like, "Oh, I respect Al. You know, he's got to take care of his girl. He's got to do what he's got to do." And then he comes on this podcast and he's like, "Oh, he didn't want to record." Yeah, shut up, Jared.
Just go listen to the episode, and we'll say the truth. Either way, go listen. Of course, follow this podcast on Twitter. Actually, you can't follow us on Twitter right now because we're still effing suspended. So follow the main show, Couch Guy Sports. I don't know why we're in Twitter jail. No idea. Nick Qualia runs that one, though. So if anything, it's his fault, not mine.
Yes, when in doubt, blame Quags. Right.
Whatever Quags did, we're suspended still. Probably not going to get that account back. We should probably just start a new one. But for now, Couch Guy Sports on Twitter. That's where we're pumping everything. CouchGuySports.com, all the written content, other podcasts, Twitch, YouTube. We say it every week. Just go do it.
Yep.
The store, all that good stuff. We have some stuff. I'm working on something, sort of a giveaway for this show. We'll get into that. Actually, for Into the Triangle as well. Perks of me being on the show. We're going to do them for both episodes. We're doing it for both podcasts, so that's fine. So we'll get Al. You can't win. Don't worry.
I know. I don't want to win anyway. I want a lucky listener to win it.
Okay. Diego, if you're listening, you can't win either. All right.
Good.
Moving on. For those on the video, haven't said anything yet because we've been talking too much. But Matthew Drozers, Matty D, on with us this week. Matty, what's up, big guy?
Man, this is awesome to come on the show. You guys have a good thing going. I hope I just don't ruin it. You know, I hope I can just hop in and ride you guys' waves and, dare I say, ride your coattails to an awesome episode.
You can't be worse than Jared, so you're
It
fine.
sounds like what Michael Chavis's goals are for the Red Sox season. Just don't screw it up when he comes to the big. Is really what you're
absolutely.
That's what you're going for. Matty, tell everybody where they can find your stuff outside of this guest appearance.
All right. Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Matty Kiwoom, MattyKiwoom. Every week we bring to you from Couch Guy Sports the High Heat Fantasy Baseball podcast that drops every Thursday. We got a special guest. I'm not going to say who here. I'm going to tease it on this show, but a great guest this week. So you can look for that episode on Thursday. You can also check out my written stuff on CouchGuySports.com. I have a weekly fantasy baseball article that comes out, kind of ties into the podcast episode and what's going on. And, other than that, I do some stuff on the internet, Boston Sports Syndicate, some stuff over there. Those guys are awesome. And, that's where you can find me.
I'm glad you finished the sentence because all you did was say, I do some stuff on the internet, and I didn't know what you were going to say. And thank God
See, the tease is real.
Sentence. That's all I'm going to say. You finished the sentence. Good job.
But if I would have left it blank, if I just would have shut my computer off, the listeners have been like, wait, what? Did you have what kind of guy did you just – but I'm definitely going to check out that High Heat Fantasy Baseball podcast.
Yeah. Search
that weirdo
Kiwoom on Twitter and see what comes up, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, there might be some questionable tweets up there, maybe.
Don't search it on Google alone. Matty, stoked to have you on board. Awesome talk. We got a lot to talk about tonight, guys. So no weekly dump. Screw that. Who cares? First topic, Jimmy G. We're going to go right into it. Jimmy Garoppolo. I think every Patriots fan and their mother has been trying to get Jimmy G back to the Patriots since he left. Since he was traded. I'll go back to this. I still to this day don't feel bad that they traded him because, like, you won our Super Bowl, Brady. And probably should have won two after that trade. So, bygones be bygones. But now, the 49ers traded up for the number 3 pick, right?
Yep.
3 pick. Did this get talked about last week? I forget the timing of this trade. Was this before or after episode 200?
I think it was after.
It was after, right?
Pretty sure it was after.
I couldn't remember. All my days blur together. So the 49ers made a huge move, which no one ever does this, and traded up the number 3 pick with the Miami Dolphins, who had that pick via the Houston Texans. Sorry, Texans, you still suck. And now the 49ers have the number 3 overall pick. Dolphins got a bunch of draft capital back, including the number 15 pick. No, 12 pick. It's not 15. Patriots have 15. And then they flipped that to the Eagles for number 6. So the Eagles traded down. Dolphins now at number 6 have a crap ton of more draft capital, assuming to go get Deshaun Watson. But either way, the Dolphins are loaded with draft picks and talent, and they're going in the right direction. 49ers, though, traded up to number 3. And anyone on Twitter that's been saying to me that they're going to trade up for anyone but a quarterback in that position, you're wrong. You're not trading up to number 3 to draft Kyle Pitts or anybody from Alabama that's not named Mac Jones. You're drafting a quarterback with whoever is there. You assume Trevor Lawrence is going 1. I think if they don't, fire Urban Meyer. That's it. Done. You're done. Don't care. Number 2, where I think we're all consensus, Zach Wilson to the Jets if they take a quarterback.
A lot of reports are speculating that Wilson's going to be taken 2.
So you assume those 2 are off the board. I want to ask your opinion on this, and then we'll go to Jimmy G because it kind of all relates. Who do the 49ers take at 3? Assuming they take a quarterback, which, again, we all assume. Who would you guys expect them to take?
I mean, it's tough to say because there have been reports that Mac Jones might be taking 3. You know, a lot.
My mind.
I know, for real.
Yeah.
Another name that's come up, I mean, Justin Fields. That's another name, another quarterback that's been brought up. Trey Lance, another name. I think that's too high for Lance, personally. But that's another name they can look at.
So if you think that's too high for Lance, but what if the Patriots traded up with the Falcons and took Lance then? Is that still too high?
Not for the Patriots situation because they desperately need a quarterback. Because if San Francisco, if they miraculously don't take a quarterback, they still have Jimmy, which is fine. And Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have come out and said, you know, Jimmy's our guy. We're going to go with Jimmy. But
we'll talk about that.
Is there a possibility, and this is sort of another like mini question for both of you guys, is there a situation where they draft a quarterback and then they just groom him behind Jimmy and have Jimmy still be the starter and then have the guy they draft just sit on the bench for a year or 2?
Go ahead, Maddie. I'll let you take that one.
They definitely could do that. It seems like the only successful example I can come up with, other than obviously Rodgers, but that's a long time ago now, is Mahomes. The Bills traded with the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs move up to 10, grab Mahomes, have him ride behind Alex Smith for a year, bring him in week 17. He has been lighting the world on fire ever since. I personally do not think Jimmy G will be around week 1 because the writing's kind of on the wall here. It's starting to form if you follow reports and kind of the trend there. But the grooming QB situation is obviously on the book. I think the QB most likely for that scenario is a Trey Lance, if that's the route they go. Reports coming out from San Francisco that they made that trade because they're happy with a number of guys. So it wasn't necessarily a target; it was a grouping that they were okay taking. But if they take Mac Jones, if they take Justin Fields, if Zach Wilson falls to 3, Jimmy G's will probably not start week 1. It will be that rookie with that upside.
If you take a rookie that high with that much upside, you got to play him.
Yeah,
you can't.
I agree.
Like if Mac Jones fell to 15, which is what we were all talking about at the beginning of draft speculation, that's not going to happen now. But like, say he fell to 15 and the Patriots took him, you're not going to. There's a chance you'd be like, okay, I'm not going to play Mac Jones. And we were even talking about you have to play Mac Jones if you take him at 15. So like, if Mac Jones goes 3, and there are a lot of reports now that Mac Jones might be the best fit for the 49ers system and what they like to do because they like the idea of a pocket passer who can break the pocket when needed, which is why Kyle Shanahan did so well with Matt Ryan, right? Like guy who can stand in the pocket, somewhat decent. I think they'd be dumb not to take Fields, but like that's just their choice. And I think they really can figure it out with anybody because, again, that team is built for now. But if you can put a young quarterback who can play in that system, I think Mac Jones might be the best fit for being able to read an offense and play within a system because that's what Shanahan's value is that system. If Jimmy G is not a Patriot come week 1, that is a massive failure because when they come out and say, yeah, he's our guy. We're built for the playoffs. Like we want to win. Okay. But like, you clearly don't value him. Like he's been hurt this whole time. You kept saying you were looking for a quarterback and interested in moving on if the right thing came across. So like, what if it was Deshaun Watson? You're going to say, yeah, Jimmy's our guy. Like, no. So I think these young guys have more upside than Jimmy G. I think some of these guys I'd take over Jimmy G. If you could draft Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, I'd take him over Jimmy G as a Patriot, right? Like I think they're better. But as a Patriots fan, I look at this and go, I don't believe you, John Lynch. I don't believe you saying, oh, he's our guy. This is exactly what happened with freaking Josh Rosen in the Cardinals. Yeah, he's our guy. Josh is my guy. And then the first overall pick comes around and they draft Kyler Murray.
Right.
Like, of course he's not your guy. And the same thing is here.
Right. Oh, and by the way, who was John Lynch talking with and Kyle Shanahan talking with today at Pro Day?
Billy B.
Billy Belichick.
And
It's
Josh
how-
McDaniels, by the way, Josh McDaniels was present today at that Alabama
Yeah.
Pro Day looking at Mac Jones. So they're seriously looking at that if he slips. Just saying that trade with the Atlanta Falcons looks more promising if they're going to stick with Matty Ice. Mac Jones, man, Patriot.
And then obviously you either draft the quarterback or you try to trade for Jimmy. And for the fans, listen, for the fans that say they'd rather Cam Newton this season,
God,
why?
we
And-
stop with that.
Like, it's just, I don't understand. Yes, he had 3 good games before he got COVID. I understand that. But if you have COVID and you're feeling the side effects at that level where they have, all the up-to-date testing, the best doctors in the world, everything, if you're really feeling that bad, you shouldn't have been playing. But obviously, Cam Newton felt like he was good enough to go. And then look at what he did. He was trashed.
COVID does not cause you to throw the ball 10 yards in front of somebody off the turf. Like, COVID
At least
does not
you wouldn't think.
COVID, and I've not had COVID. I don't want to have COVID. I'm registering for my shots. All the good stuff's coming. But, like, I can't imagine COVID is what causes you to read something the wrong way. Like, completely not throw to the right side of the field even. Like, there's no reason for that other than he doesn't get it. He can't figure it out. He's not what he was. Now, if it's Cam Newton or Jarrett Stidham, if that's my option,
You have to
I'll
go
take
with
Cam Newton. I'll
Right.
take Cam Newton.
Yeah.
But, like, why does that have to be that doesn't have to be my option here. Like, Bill has all the control in this. Like, it doesn't have to be Cam Newton and Jarrett Stidham again.
Right. And the only defense that people have, which is a valid defense, is that he signed late in training camp. He didn't have a full training camp. Obviously, COVID shortened season just with everything going on.
Mhm.
And he didn't have weapons, which we understand, And then they went out. They got Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, and others. So he has weapons now. But at the same time, do we really, by week 3 or 4, if he's doing what he did at the end of last year and he's underthrowing receivers by about 5 to 10 yards, are we going to be having the same conversation? No. So go out and get a quarterback that's going to actually work for you. Plain and simple. That's Jimmy. As long as he can stay healthy, Jimmy is the guy that will help you be in a better position to win football games, period.
And if your plan is to get a quarterback in the draft, like if you're planning on trading up, and as much as they won't say it and no one wants to report it, like there are clear signs that they're clearly looking at all these quarterbacks in those top 6 picks. They're at, I mean, Belichick always goes to Bama's pro day. Like, I don't look too much into Belichick being there because him and Saban are literally best friends. But the fact that McDaniels went with him is more telling because that's hey, Josh, can this guy work in the system? Like, I want your offensive opinion. Can you work with this? And you just can't assume if they're going to trade up in the draft. I don't want Cam Newton being the option. Like, I want Jimmy Garoppolo here for a year. If you're going to draft that high and you really are committed to not having him play week 1, because I know Belichick's not big on rookies. Like, Belichick likes guys to be in the system for a year before playing unless they absolutely are bona fide studs guaranteed to play. And they don't that doesn't happen a lot here. I think that the ideal situation is you trade up wherever you can fit in there. What Falcons are 4, 5?
Fourth.
Cincinnati's 5.
Yeah, so if Cincinnati's 5, they're not taking a freaking quarterback.
No, they're taking Jamar Chase.
Yeah, so if you trade, but they're not going to trade out either. So if you trade up to 4, Falcons, if you give Falcons a good amount of value for 15 and some other picks, like, it's a deal that the Falcons should consider heavily. And the Patriots pulled that trigger. Your options are probably it's a combination of Fields, Mac Jones, Trey Lance. Those are probably one of those 3 will be there at 5. You're not going to have much choice, probably.
No.
But I want one of those guys over just Jimmy G and Jarrett Stidham or Cam Newton and Jarrett Stidham. I just want Jarrett Stidham off this team.
He will be. He will be after preseason. He will probably be.
And the best way to do that is draft a young kid who can prove that he's better than Stidham. And if you want to play a veteran week 1, fine. Play Cam Newton, play Jimmy G. I'd rather Jimmy G, obviously.
Yeah.
Play a veteran week 1. By week 4, the rookie will be in regardless.
Right. And again, you don't want to go through the same thing that you went through last year. Jimmy will know this system somewhat. I'm sure there's going to be some changes, some adjustments. But you know what? He's played under Josh McDaniels before as an OC. He's played under Belichick as a head coach. It would be at an advantage if you brought him back here. Plain and simple. I'm not ruling anything out until the draft's over in a month. Once the draft's over, then if there's not a move made, then I'll say, okay, maybe he's not coming here, and that's fine. We'll roll with Cam. But until then, anything that I hear is just a smokescreen. Unless Ian Rappaport or Adam Schefter's like, New England has agreed to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, etc.
Has to be Adam Schefter.
Has to be Schefter.
He's the guy. He's the Patriots guy.
Has to be.
Definitely.
He's so tied in to the Patriots.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's definitely tied in there. So it sounds like you guys think Jimmy G is gone, though, from San Francisco.
Oh, I agree with you. Yeah, if they keep him, they're
Yeah.
idiots. Because
Right.
the cap situation, even like his contract, if you can get rid of him and save money and bring in your rookie of choice, right? You have the third
Yeah.
pick. You're going to have some options there. You bring in a younger quarterback, get rid of that money that Jimmy G has dealt with, and then you can use that money to surround the new quarterback with more talent. Like
Yeah.
it's an obvious decision to not have Jimmy Garoppolo on this 49ers team if they draft a quarterback at 3, which if they don't,
They have to.
fire John Lynch.
Yeah, you don't trade what they traded to move all the way up to 3 to take, the kid, the tackle from Oregon. That's just not what you do. You're taking a quarterback there. And Jimmy G, that pretty much, I think, that's the exclamation point on a move that will get him out of San Francisco. But I do not think he's coming to New England. I don't think he's coming to New England.
I mean, there are other suitors out there.
Oh, there's suitors. I would bring him here. I agree with everything you guys are saying in terms of the fit, the style, the improvement from Cam, all that. But given the cap hit, and if they trade up, you're talking about somebody who has a higher cap hit in terms of the rookie. They're not going to take on that much salary. Signing Cam, to me, proves one of two things. One, they're going to take a quarterback in this draft, which could range anywhere from 15 to the mid rounds, right? Personally, I think you'll see the top 5 QBs gone by pick 8. That's what I think. So if the Patriots don't get in there, they're not getting one. And then you're talking about the Newmans, the Mons, Ian Book, those type of guys, later in the draft. And I'm going to throw my bold take out here, fellas. And you guys brought them up earlier, so you guys can laugh me off the podcast if you like. But you know what? You guys brought me on the main show. I'm going to swing for the fences. I'm a baseball guy. I'm not ruling out Jarrett Stidham as Belichick's answer long term. Not my answer, his answer. And here's why. They brought in Cam. Like I said, this could all fall apart if they draft somebody at 4 or if, they get in front of Carolina. So, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. Jarrett Stidham's out there in California with all the receivers, with Cam, building that rapport. And a report about a year ago came out that Patriots brass felt like Jarrett Stidham was 1 year away from the confidence level that they had with the young Jimmy G, which would put him on track right now. So I'm not saying I like this idea. I don't know. I don't think this guy's the answer, but I'm saying reading the tea leaves, seeing what's happening, seeing how things unfold, I think you see a Cam Newton week 1 starter, Jarrett Stidham battling a Kellen Mond, a Jamie Newman, one of those types.
So that feels more Belichick-y than quarterback. It's 5 or 4, whatever.
Yes.
Like that feels more like what's coming. And I think get your grips around that because that's probably right after the season over. We're like, God, Cam can't come back. There's no way Cam's coming back. He sucked. Belichick, and then they signed Cam. So I wouldn't put anything past Bill. Would I be shocked if he takes defense at 15 and then drafts a quarterback in 2, 3, or 4 round later? Like, no, of course not. Because if he really thinks he can get a lot out of Cam, like if he really sees Cam as like this year and next year's answer with a talented roster around him, because like the biggest excuse everyone is bringing up with Cam is no talent.
Yeah,
throwing N'Keal Harry, like no Julian Edelman. She was hurt. He was hurt. No tight end solution. Like that was the biggest excuse, and it was fair, right? But that being said, how many throws did Cam miss? But Bill went out and got him a ton of talent. The top 2 tight ends on the market, both Patriots. And you brought some Nelson Aguilar, take the top off the ball. Still have Jacoby Myers, who Cam loves. You brought in Bourne, who seems like the more and more I watch about him and what I'm hearing, he might be the steal of free agency for what they paid him and what you might get out of him. So Cam has some weapons now. There's no more excuses. If he is your week 1 starter, week 2 starter with a little bit of an offseason, because they did say today they're hoping that they can start OTAs like April 12th, April 16th. And they're talking more and more about being in person. Goodell, unprompted, said today that the stadiums are going to be full in the fall as well. So they're trying to push through as planned, like normal season. So if that's the case, then Cam can get in there now with these guys, along with Jarrett Stidham. Maybe, Maddie, your plan doesn't sound that crazy because they actually can figure it out. But I still would rather Jimmy over Cam. And Jimmy Garoppolo, man. Jimmy Garoppolo is beautiful in all the facets. And now he gets so beautiful, Al. It's MANSCAPED.
Exactly. And I got a question for the both of you guys really quick. Is there any better feeling in the world than the freshly mowed grass at the ballpark on opening day, which is this Thursday? So as this podcast comes out, it might even be ready this Thursday. Red Sox are playing. We're at Fenway Park. Nice Fenway Frank. Nice ice cold beer.
Oh,
How
Stop
about how about also with that, right? How about some freshly groomed balls? Because our sponsors at Manscaped,
Meatballs?
not quite, are the
Baseball?
global
I'm
leaders.
Italian. I'm Italian. Sorry.
Fair enough. Are the global leaders in below the waist grooming, and they are here to help you strike out your bush for good. It's a whole new balls game, ladies and gentlemen, and Manscaped is here and trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. So join the movement now. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code CouchGuy20 at manscaped.com. I'm telling you both right now, these products, they are not a joke. They're so easy to use, and I have all the confidence in the world with the best tools for the job at Manscaped. That's why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. The Manscaped engineering team has spent literally a year and a half, 18 months, perfecting the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created, the Lawnmower 3.0. Because of their ceramic blade and advanced skin-safe technology, your snags will be reduced with a close shave. The Lawnmower 3.0 is simply the best hygiene tool for the modern man. It hits the sweet spot in every way for your balls. The Perfect Package 3.0 also comes with the Crop Preserver and Crop Reviver. It's time to keep your testes fresh and clean. The Crop Preserver is an anti-chafing ball deodorant to keep your balls from sticking to your legs from end to end. What a curveball from the norm when I'm at the ball game. This stuff, I'm telling you right now, it's legit. The Crop Reviver is a spray-on toner for your balls, and it's made with soothing aloe and witch hazel extracts that will give your balls a boost. Manscaped even threw in their shed travel bag to keep all your goodies stored comfortably. Speaking of comfort, the Manscaped anti-chafing boxer briefs. Jared, I know you have a pair of these. You've talked about them before with Quags. How comfortable
Guys,
are those things, right?
golf season's coming up. Oh, they are great for a stroll around 18, man.
Oh, they are. Guess what? Those boxer briefs are included and will bring your boxer game to the absolute next level. And complete your top-to-bottom grooming game with the new refined cologne signature scent by Manscaped. Jared, let me ask you something. You want to go on a date night with Laura soon, right?
Oh, man, if I can get time, sure.
Wouldn't you want to make sure that you have this lovely cologne right here to make sure
I've
that
been told
you
it's
are
great
ready
stuff.
for date night?
I've been told date night has no match.
It really is. I mean, look at the craftsmanship. Look at that. Look at that packaging.
That makes me want to go Manscaped right now. Let's get ready.
Exactly. And with these new refined signature scents, you're going to make sure that it's the same signature scent that's in all Manscaped formulas, because this cologne is the perfect complement to the collection. I just smelled it, and it smells incredible.
Oh, you're going to make me have baby number 2. You got to.
I know. Listen, I'm trying to keep it together. But you talk about the ultimate utility man, Jared. Manscaped is like the Mike Trout of all ball trimmers. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code CouchGuy20 at manscaped.com. Hit the balls out of the park this season with the Manscaped Perfect Package 3.0. Again, 20% off and free shipping with the code CouchGuy20 at manscaped.com. One final time, 20% off, free shipping, manscaped.com. Use that code CouchGuy20. Baseball is back, ladies and gentlemen. Do not let your pubes get out of whack.
The Mookie Betts of grooming?
Listen,
Trout.
Manscaped sends the stuff over. It said Mike Trout. I went with Mike Trout.
The Mike Trout of grooming?
Absolutely. If you're talking about the best in the game, it's Trout.
Bryce Harper of grooming? You really have plenty of options.
The
Fernando Tatis of grooming?
But you know what else is fun, Jared? The fact that Red Sox baseball is officially back on Thursday.
Oh, it is. It is. We'll talk about that. We're gonna end the show with a little baseball.
Okay.
We're gonna end the show with a little baseball. I want to talk about Celtics because Celtics. Yeah, they are. They're being the Celtics right now. So they had their first game back with fans yesterday, as we record this today on Monday. They played the wonderful New Orleans Pelicans, and Zion Williamson, who literally does not get called for a foul ever. It's like worse than LeBron was when he came up. Just big dude, just gets to do whatever he wants. But that being said, Celtics
They're scared of him.
They are definitely scared of him, 100%. The Celtics, that was the debut of Evan Fournier. Celtics, big trade acquisition from the Orlando Magic. We lost Daniel Tice, Jeff Teague, and Javonte Green in the trade deadline. Jeff Teague got waived by the Orlando Magic. He's now went to the Milwaukee Bucks, so his situation improved drastically for sucking this year. That's good for him. Daniel Tice is now a member of the Chicago Bulls. His situation might have improved too. Might get some more playing time. Chicago Bulls also traded for Vucevic, Orlando Magic on the fire sale. So Vuce is gone. He's also a member of the Chicago Bulls, but we got the wonderful Evan Fournier, who, mind you, didn't score a point last night in his opening debut.
Oh, jeez.
0 for 10.
Are you
0
going
for 10. Didn't hit a shot. Ugh.
Are you going to be that guy that thinks he stinks now because his debut was a dud?
No.
Thank you.
Evan Fournier. I know Evan Fournier is not bad. Like, I think he's a good player.
Good.
Here's the deal. I don't really know how this trade pans out until we sign Evan Fournier or not, because he's up after this year.
Mhm.
Danny's preaching. The plan is to sign him, and if you do that, that makes the deal a little better, right? You traded Daniel Tice and Jeff Teague, who sucked, and Javonte Green for Evan Fournier, who can be here long term with the Jays. I'm fine with that. That's a good trade mid-season. But if he does, but didn't they also sign? They wanted Kyrie to be here long term. They also said a lot of things about Al Horford being here long term. Got to sign him, and he's going to make a lot of money. So Celtics fans, be ready. If you want to keep Evan Fournier around, it's going to start hurting a little more. There's going to be some people just Band-Aids ripped off, but that's an off-season conversation. I want to ask you guys, did this trade wet your palate enough to be happy with Danny Ainge at the trade deadline, seeing where this team is? Are you mad he didn't do more? Because there was talks that he was trying for Vooch too. He was trying to get both of them and didn't offer enough, and it would have been probably Marcus Smart and a first to get him, essentially, and maybe still Javonte Green. Like, you probably could have swung Vooch if you really wanted to, but Danny didn't do it.
Yeah.
Are you okay with what they did?
Yes, and there's a few reasons. First of all, Javonte Green, end of the bench guy. Don't really need him. Yeah, he was athletic. You know, he could jump a little bit. He was, good in garbage time, but you didn't really need him. Smell you later. Jeff Teague, again, you just said it. He stunk. He was horrible this not even half season in Boston. Smell you later. Daniel Tice. Okay, I know Celtics fans, they love Daniel Tice. They called him a true Celtic. All this stuff. The guy wasn't that good. And he's going to be a free agent this offseason. So you're probably going to have to pay to get him anyway. So get him.
You probably weren't going to. Weren't going to.
Right. And you probably were not gonna pony up the dough for him, which is fine. I'm fine with Tice being out of here. Evan Fournier, you have him here. He averages 20 points a game. Granted, I know his debut was bad. I watched the whole game. I'm sure you did too, Jared. And Maddie, I don't know if you did, but it was a dud debut, plain and simple. He was bad. But I think with everything being considered, there's something deep down inside of me that says this offseason, Danny is going to make a huge push for Bradley Beal. That's what I think this trade deadline said. I think he's gearing up for a run to get Bradley Beal. He's already said he wants to play with Jason Tatum. Those two are really good friends. The situation in Boston is obviously a lot better than the situation in Washington. So if it means getting rid of Marcus Smart, it means getting rid of some of your younger pieces.
Kemba Walker, probably.
Yeah, but are you gonna be able to get rid of Kemba Walker, who's aging and has a bad knee? I agree.
If he's part of the Bradley Beal deal.
Yes, then yes, if you want to.
Because you're trading for Bradley Beal, remember that. He's still got another season in Washington. So if you're getting Bradley Beal, which I'm for, like, I think it's a great plan, you got to trade until after next season. So if you don't want to wait, you're trading Kemba, Marcus Smart now to get him, which I'm for, by the way.
And you have to, because then next season you'll have obviously Bradley Beal, the two J's. You have Robert Williams. And then if you really want to, if you trust him enough, put Peyton Pritchard at the point guard spot. If you trust him that much, if you're getting rid of Smart and
Romeo
Kemba.
Langford, they still clearly enjoy Romeo Langford's presence, and he's supposed to play tonight, but, like, he's been hurt a lot. That kid was drafted. He was their first pick that year.
Yes.
And they
right outside the lottery.
Yeah, right outside the lottery, like 15, whatever it was. Like, they see value in Romeo Langford.
Yeah.
They could have dealt him by now. Like, he could have been included instead of Javonte Green in this deal, and they probably would have taken it.
But how can you deal somebody that hasn't played that much?
But okay, Markelle Fultz got dealt. He barely played that year when he got traded to the Magic.
Yeah.
I know it's a different circumstance, but, like, they clearly see something in Romeo Langford that is keeping them from dealing him. So I agree with you. I want to hear Maddie's take on this. I trust the Celtics opinion only because I see a Garnett jersey behind him, and that is my favorite player of all time. So, Maddie B, I'm going to take what you say as gospel.
All right.
Because
pressure's on. A little bit of pressure here. Okay. I think it was a fine trade. It was a trade. I think the actual deal itself pretty much laid out what it was. It was a dump of the Magic. The Magic dumped him. You know, they traded everybody. They got
Mhm.
2 second-round picks, including a protected second-round pick, which is basically like, who cares? And he's a free agent. He's a high-volume shooter. That's where he does a lot of his damage, and he's just not going to get volume here. If he comes in with the second unit, that's all well and good, but I just feel like it was a mediocre trade. It was something to push across to the media and to the fans that, hey, I did something. I heard things. People were saying that finally, Danny did something, and it's like, Evan Fournier. You saw Aaron Gordon traded. You saw Vucevic traded. You saw all these high-end players traded. You saw Drew Holiday traded in the offseason. It just feels like he settled and didn't attack. And I don't know what that tells the guys in the locker room.
And look at the Miles Turner stats. Should have made that trade.
Oh, my God.
Didn't pull the trigger.
Do you remember who was potentially in that deal? It was Turner. It was either Jeremy Lamb or Doug McDermott. All three of those guys are having solid years and a first-round pick. And he said, no, just give me the trade exemption that I'll use on Evan Fournier.
Hey, listen, you give the Green Cornet some respect, okay? He is lighting it up.
Good player.
Solid player off the bench. Those two guys are Mo Wagner and Luke Cornet. They were my favorite acquisitions because they have some raw talent. They got something you can't teach, which is size. And
it's some depth off the bench. It's some depth off the bench, which they didn't have.
Yeah,
6'10" and 7'2". 6'10" and 7'2". You can't teach that.
No.
See, now, and that's the thing. They did this, and they're still active on the buyout market. So I'm all for active. I'm all for Evan Fournier. I don't know what they offered Andre Drummond, but because the Lakers took him. I'm all for Evan Fournier being here. I think the point of this deal was they saw what Miami did last year and saw the Duncan Robinson and Tyler Herro, who's been terrible this year, eat them alive from behind the arc. Mm-hmm. And they saw, I need that. Pritchard's been good, right? Neesmith has figured out. So those are 2 good draft picks Danny made, those 2 players. But Evan Fournier is that guy that if he has an open 3, in most cases, I trust him to hit it. And so I think that was a piece that it takes a little bit of pressure off the Jays in moving the ball, spacing. I'd want Fournier on the floor at the end of a game. But Al, you're right. This is a bigger play. You're dumping Daniel Tice. I think Evan Fournier is a good sign long term, but you're gonna be able to sign Evan Fournier because you're gonna be trading Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart, and whatever it may be. Now, there's another name out there now that could also be coming available. Finally, is Towns out of Minnesota. There are reports today that Towns and blanking on his name for some reason, his point guard,
Russell,
yeah, both of them are apparently available. Come the offseason. Minnesota's being dumb. They can't figure it out. They have 2 really good players, and they just can't figure it out. Apparently, those guys are available. And the big question is, one, do they want to play together? Do they get shipped together? I think Towns has some power in this trade. But, if you were to trade Marcus Smart and Kemba Walker, and that's a big part of this, right? Marcus Smart, Kemba Walker probably get shipped out together for one of these players. Is it Bradley Beal or is it Towns?
I'm a Beal guy. I'm taking Beal. I think the rapport with Jason Tatum is, something you can't really calculate, but it's big and it matters in the NBA. And I just think they need scoring, and that guy is just a dead red scorer.
Yeah, and the thing is, right, if you asked me maybe a month or 2 ago, I probably would have said Karl Anthony Towns, but honestly, I'm not saying that they're anywhere near talent comparison, but Robert Williams is looking pretty good in that 5 spot.
That's my spot. Yep.
So that's the whole thing is unless Robert Williams is going in this deal too, which I hope they would never do, but unless he's going, wouldn't you rather get the guy that's leading the league in scoring in Bradley Beal, and then have him play alongside Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? So that way, let's think of it this way. Would Jason Tatum still be the number 1 in Boston if you brought in Bradley Beal?
Yes, but not by much.
Yeah, see, I don't know, right, and I don't even know about that. It could be a 1A, 1B type of thing, and Jaylen's your 2 or 3.
Oh, see, I think it turns if you bring in Jaylen Brown's easily the 2 right now. Jason, I think Jason Tatum's a better player. If you bring in Bradley Beal, which I'm all for, and again, I agree with you, Al. Asked me 2 months ago, give me Towns. That's a position of need. They need a big man who can play. I love Bradley Beal, and I'd rather him, but at the same time, Towns would have fit better. Whatever happened to Time Lord and whatever his progress got figured out, as long as they keep him, he's good enough to play with a lot of the bigs against to hold him when you're adding a talent like Bradley Beal. to play alongside those other two guys. So like look, that's the decision. But
Right.
when you look at the Celtics themselves, like Bradley Beal is a very close 1B to Tatum's 1A, and I just give it to Tatum because he's here. Like I look at it as like the KG Pierce situation. Kevin Garnett, thank you as a reminder. When they came here, right? Garnett was the better player. It was Paul Pierce's team.
Yeah.
Yes.
And at the end of the game, Paul Pierce got the ball.
Right.
And I think at the end of games in a Celtics uniform, if those two play together, Tatum gets the ball. Obviously, Beal will get the ball too. Like I'm not saying that, but like
no, but,
at the end of the
last
day,
shot, it's going to Tatum.
If Brad Stevens is drawing up a play at the end of the game, it's going to Jason Tatum. Doc Rivers, he drew up a play for Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce got the ball 9 times out of 10 at the end of those games. Jason Tatum would get the ball 9 times out of 10. And now if he's smart enough and sees Beal open, great. I'll give Bradley Beal 10 out of 10 shots in the other games too. Like that's the beautifulness. And like, that's the kind of move that Danny needs to make to be a contender. Like, look, I've loved the last couple of years. They've been in the Eastern Conference Finals. I thought they should have probably gotten in the finals last year, and who knows what they would have done against the Lakers in the bubble. Probably would have put up a better fight than the Heat did. But they're not that close when everything's equal, especially now with the Nets being the way they are, with Kyrie and Durant both back, and now they're drawing players like nothing, right? Like Blake Griffin just walked into Brooklyn and like Blake Griffin's their 4th option, and Blake Griffin's still a good player. So now everybody wants to go to Brooklyn. The Bucks are still really good. The Sixers are now solid with a real coach in Doc Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my favorite's still to come out of the East. So like the Celtics aren't as close as they were. They've taken a step back because they haven't done anything meaningful. They need to improve the roster, and Bradley Beal is really the way to do it and have a guy who would want to be here because Tatum's here.
One other thing about Beal that I just would really love in his mix on the court, Jason Tatum's ISO percentage is sandwiched in between LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony. So high. But he's shooting only 35% when he's on ISO. And that is because opposing teams have no problem shedding a defender off somebody to meet him at the corner or double team him to really screw up his rhythm. If you had a guy like Bradley Beal on the court, like and kept him near when Tatum's gonna go ISO, that defender's not gonna leave Bradley Beal open. There's no way that's gonna happen. And I just think you get like you said, a dynamic scorer, the league's best scorer right now, and you match him with a playmaker like Tatum, that's where they really can take that next level.
Beal, Tatum, and Brown are right back to the top of the Eastern Conference as contenders.
Yeah,
like if you
killer bees, baby.
Beal, it's a heck of a trio that can. And Beal's not that old. Like no. Is he 30 yet?
I don't think so. I'll double check that real quick.
But even if he is 30, not by much, and you're playing with 2 kids who are under 25, like it's a solid trio for a solid while to make runs at championships and be the contender that we in Boston expect them to be.
27
years old.
Yeah.
Like, come on. It is really the ideal situation now that Kyrie is gone. And look, I was the number one proponent of keeping Kyrie. I think as much as I would have, it's a good thing that you're not dealing with his BS anymore. Like, you lost Kyrie Irving, man. You had him, and you didn't pay him. So it is what it is. But Bradley Beal, man, I think that has to be the end goal. And you're right, Al. I think it's definitely scheming up in Brad's and Danny's head to make that move. That we just got to do it. And I hope he does it this offseason and doesn't wait for him to be a free agent, because you want to trade him now, because then if you do re-sign him to a contract, you have more rights with the bird rights and everything. Like I'm afraid they won't do it because of the Marcus Smart thing. And they're going to have to include Marcus Smart if they want Bradley Beal. But if Danny Ainge doesn't see the value in trading Marcus Smart for a guy like Bradley Beal, that should be the end of Danny Ainge as the GM of the Boston Celtics. Because we've all been crapping on him for not making moves, but he's done okay. Like, his plan was Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, or Anthony Davis, like that, and he was kind of going into motion, and then Kyrie screwed it all up. So I give Danny a little pass on that one, because he made the move. He got Kyrie Irving. He traded a fan favorite in Isaiah Thomas. It just didn't pan out because Kyrie's a nut job. So that's a big part of that. If you can pull this off, I'll forgive it all, because you probably win at least one title with Bradley Beal with the Jays because of their young youth and what they can do.
Right.
Last topic: Boston Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox. Today, recording on Tuesday. That means 2 days from now, as of recording, opening day. Spring training games are over. Today was the last one. They're done. They're making their way up to Boston. Spring training is over. Opening day here. You're going to get the fresh smell of the grass through your TV. Fans are allowed as of day one.
Mhm.
So, guys, I'm so freaking excited.
Me too.
They've looked better than I thought they would. I know it's spring training. I hate to do it, but like they've hit the crap out of the ball in spring training.
Yep.
Most home runs, wasn't it? In
Most
out of
home
any
runs, I
team?
think, in the Grapefruit League. Is that both leagues or Grapefruit League? Just the Grapefruit League, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
I
really
think it's just
care about.
grapefruit.
Screw ourselves. Not important. We're the best damn Grapefruit League home run hitting team. Look, there's a lot of interesting storylines around this team. Obviously not like a top line contender right now. We knew that coming in, but I think they're going to be better than a lot of people expect because of how bad last year was. I think I was the only one. This was the live Into the Triangle show we did on Twitch. I think I was the only one out of both podcasts to say they were going to make the playoffs. I want your take, Matt, but first, Al, are you changing your tune on that?
No.
Are you? No. I
No.
hate you. You're the worst.
No. 83 and 79.
I can't wait. I can't
hope
wait
they
for them to
do.
prove you wrong.
I hope they do. You're making it sound like I want them to be
Oh,
bad.
he's hedging his bets.
I want them to be good.
Al, it sounds like you want them to lose.
No, I don't. That's why I'm
Al.
over 500. If I want them to lose, I'd be like former guests on Into the Triangle who will go unnamed. Let's say they're going to be a 60-win team. That ain't me.
Did I lose? I can't hear you guys.
No, we're good. We're
I
here.
can hear you guys. Oh, you're muted. There you go. Coming now.
There we go.
There we go.
That worked. All right, that was weird.
Cool.
Okay. Anyways, no, I don't want them to lose. I want them to win.
Yeah.
It's more fun when they win.
I mean,
That's
yeah.
true.
Look,
But
this team, oh, everyone, Matt, go ahead, because I want to know, one, do you think they're a playoff team? And two, I want your most interesting storyline going into Thursday.
All right, so I think they're going to make the playoffs. I actually said on Legends Lingo, shout out Al, your podcast, that they were going to win the AL East. And I still believe that. I still believe that. I think that the AL East is up for grabs, and they have as good offense as any other team in baseball. Even last year with that horrid season, they were still a top 5 offensive team in the league. And
they
spring
sucked
training,
offensively. You watched it, and
right.
you were like, how are they hitting so badly?
JD had the worst season he's going to have. Verdugo was good, but he still has more to go. He didn't hit as much pop, as he can. And they didn't drop the ball at all here in spring training. They're mashing. Their lead, runs, home runs, batting average. They're at the top of all the teams. And they're just rolling. And getting a guy like Cora back, I think that really is that catalyst for the good play right out of the gate. If you guys can remember, way back in 2019, before the world froze and changed and everything happened, they had a down year, and it started in the spring. They looked lackadaisical, not uninterested, and Alex Cora made a comment about how they need to turn the page or close the book or whatever it was. I can't exactly remember. But that is not the case this year. In 2021, they've come out the gate hot, and I think that offense is great. I think their pitching is better, but they're deep in comparison to last year. And when you scan the whole entire American League, for that matter, there's not a whole lot of high-end pitching. The best pitching is in the National League. So I think they can match their way to an AL East championship.
A lot of the pitching is in the NL. Like a lot of pitchers are in the NL.
A lot.
Yeah. So I look at the AL East. Their rotation's pretty decent across the board. Orioles, they suck. We know they suck. I think the Rays got worse, right? The Rays aren't as good as they were last year. Like I mean, they're good. Like I still think they're a contender, but are they as good as they were last year? No. The Blue Jays are the team that scare me, other than the Yankees, obviously. Like I think the Blue Jays are going in the absolute right direction. And they have all that young talent. They can also hit the crap out of the ball.
Yeah.
And they just signed my guy from Houston. So like, look, I overall think that it's going to be a 4-team race out of the 5. Like, I genuinely think the Red Sox are in the mix. Do they win the division? No, I think it's the Yankees to lose. Like, I think the Yankees win the division. They're just too good right now. But at the end of the day, this Red Sox team is a playoff team. And the way they're hitting the ball now shows me even more. And Matt, you make up the point I've been preaching to the choir since he got rehired. Alex Cora is so important for this team. And the message, no one wanted to play for Ron Renneke. Like, come on. It was Ron freaking Renneke. And as soon as they got hired, we said, oh, well, that means Cora's coming back next year. And look, we were all right. Because as soon as you hire Ron Renneke, that goes, okay, we don't value him as a manager. This year's going to suck. Cora can come back next year. And look what happened. Devers, we knew was a product of Cora. He came in, and Devers had the best year of his career in 2018. Xander Bogaerts is that much better of a player defensively with Alex Cora around. We know he can hit the crap out of the ball. All these younger guys care so much about Cora as a person and as a coach that, like, they get along with him so well that Cora really is the catalyst to take this team to the next level. Whereas, like, if Cora wasn't the manager of this team, I probably wouldn't think they'd be a playoff team. But I think he's that important. And then you obviously have the pieces. Like, I'm saying this on Into the Triangle ad nauseum, Matt. They're a platoon squad. Like, they're going to platoon every single position except for like 3.
He has.
They can do a lot of that Rays stuff for sure. I mean, Bloom comes from the Rays, so it's only
exactly.
Only makes sense.
So, like, they didn't bring it. Now, long term, like, I don't like it. Like, I want set players at set positions. But right now, coming off of like a Mookie Betts, Benintendi trade, like, if you want to platoon the outfield for a little bit, and platoon second base till Jeter Downs comes up, but like long term, there are solutions where you don't have to. Right, Jeter Downs is probably your long term second baseman.
Oh, certainly.
Jarren Duran will be up by June to play center field.
Fingers crossed.
He hit the crap out of the ball, and the only justification I can think of for him not coming up now is because they promised some of these veterans they brought in some playing time, and they got to let them play before they bring the kid up. Because this dude, and probably a little bit of the control too thing, right? They did that with Chris Bryant.
Certainly. It's a win-win for them.
Yeah, it's a win-win for everybody.
Peace in the locker room, and then get the service time.
Exactly. I almost said the Paw Sox, the Woo Sox lineup is going to be. I love the Woo Sox. Look, that AAA team is stacked, right? Like the Woo Sox have a chance to win a title this year. It's great. I hope everyone enjoys that season down in the area of Worcester. I will not be venturing to Worcester to watch a AAA baseball game, but the Red Sox have a lot more talent than I think people realize in the system coming up soon. Now, pitching, they got to figure it out. But there are pieces there. I think like Hulk, Pivetta, those guys are on the cusp of being constant pieces. This team is closer than a lot of people think. And the answers really are down in Worcester. Long-term core, I think core is going to be great for Jarren Duran, Jeter Downs, some of these guys who are younger and coming up. The fact that Xander Bogaerts signed here long-term and has won a couple World Series titles in Boston and is still here and keeps saying he wants to be here, wasn't fishy with it, didn't pull a Mookie Betts and go, yeah, I kind of want to be here, but like whatever. That speaks volumes to the rest of these kids who are going to come up and play around him. The kids are going to factor into this year. Like Bobby Dahlbeck, Rookie of the Year candidate, right? If he comes in and hits the crap out of the ball all year, that's a Rookie of the Year candidate. Maybe a home run derby guy, right? Like Bobby Dahlbeck can become a face of baseball, a potential like rising star in baseball this year, playing first base almost every day. Devers is going to be a great player this year for us. You know, there's options out here as a Red Sox team that, Al, I look at you and tell you you're crazy to think that.
We'll see.
I mean, you're not that they're not going to make the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs, Al, I don't even know what I'll do if they don't make the playoffs, because this team is too talented to not make the playoffs.
I smell a bet. I smell a bet.
One thing I will say, the one little tidbit that I'm interested in seeing this season, how the back end of the bullpen plays out, and I wrote about this on Couch Guy, I think it was earlier this week. The 7th, 8th, 9th inning guys, if this combination works out in no particular order of Matt Barnes, Sawamura, and Adam Ottavino, man, oh man, is it going to be fun to get into the 7th inning with a lead if all works out. Because Matty Barnes has proven that he can be a great 8th inning guy. Not a great closer, but a good 8th inning guy. Ottavino's probably going to be your closer. And Sawamura, by the way, can throw like upper 90s with that split finger. Oh, my goodness. Like that.
You still have other options out there. Like Brazier's hurt right now, but he can come back and be a decent 6th guy with no pressure. I trust Brazier. Darwinson Hernandez is still a guy that's out there. Like they have pieces. The Ottavino trade made it make more sense out there. Them getting Ottavino made the bullpen a little more attractive. And then I always forgot the dude you just meant, the guy from
Sawamura
overseas. Sawamura, thank you. That again, bringing in Sawamura like patched the bullpen. Like, guys, they're not as bad as people think. The biggest issue was the pitching staff, and the bullpen is pretty legit once you get 6th, 7th inning, depending on who's out there. And then you look at the rotation. Even now, it's not bad. Erod is going to miss a start or two. Fine, whatever. He'll be back. And then you get Chris Sale back this year, guys. Yeah, I don't know timing, but at some point, Chris Sale will pitch this year. And that means your dead rotation is Chris Sale, Eduardo Rodriguez, Nathan Eovaldi, Richards, and Perez.
Yeah.
And
we'll see who balances it out.
It could be Perez. It could be Hulk. It could be, like, that's a really good rotation in any league, not just the American League. Like, that's a really good baseball rotation. Guys, just stay afloat, be in the contention, get Chris Sale back, and anything can happen. 2013 Red Sox all over again.
All right. I'll change my tune a little bit.
Like,
I'll change it a little bit. I'll say they go 85 and 77.
You're the worst.
Yeah.
Guys, they will be in the 90s for wins. They will have at least 90
like
wins
that.
this season, and they will be in the playoffs. Now, am I going to win a round in the playoffs? I don't know. Depends who they play. But they will make the playoffs with over 90 wins, and they'll battle it out from there. It all starts on Thursday. Fresh grass, fans, some sense of normalcy.
Can't wait.
Beautiful thing.
Yes.
Even if Chris Sale, too, let me just add this real quick. If Chris Sale even comes back all the way at the All-Star break, you're talking about if you can add a guy like that, like your fake deadline deal. I mean, that's top of the market right there. And one last thing about this Red Sox team that I think fans won't necessarily know right off the top. They might have to dig and wait and see. Talk about the back end being improved. The front end of this bullpen is vastly improved. Matt Andriese is going to give them versatility that will benefit this roster throughout the whole season. And on top of that, Garrett Whitlock that they got in the Rule 5 draft from the Yankees. That dude's looked electric in the spring, and they're talking about using him in kind of that fireman role. So if those three guys you mentioned, Al, are rocking and rolling, and these two guys at the front are handling kind of the spot starts and come cleaning up messes, this team could be vastly improved. And I'm loving that 90 win total, Jared. I'm loving that.
Yeah. Get me over 90 wins. Give me something to watch this year. Look, I know it's not the finished product that Chaim has in mind, but if you can get over 90 wins with this team, moving forward, you have even more success. And that's what they want. I've been preaching from day one since they hired Chaim. I want to be the effing Dodgers. You have the money. I want to be good every year. I want to be in contention every year. I'm sick of having first place, last place bullshit. Like, win. I don't care if you're going to win. You're not going to win a World Series every year. Dodgers clearly prove that's very hard to do. Win a good amount of games every year. I'm sick of baseball seasons ending in May.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well said.
That's all I need. Couch Guys Sports Podcast, episode 201. CouchGuysSports.com, iTunes, Spotify, everywhere you can find your podcast now. Don't forget Twitch channel, YouTube channel. If you want to watch some idiots who write about sports, play video games, channel's a great spot to hang out. Al tries to play Fortnite every week. It's just common. It's fun. It's entertaining. So go check it out. Subscribe there. You can do it free on Amazon, by the way. Twitch Gaming. You can just subscribe for free every month.
And with that said, we got some fun stuff planned, especially upcoming for the month of April. So stay tuned.
Yep. Big things coming. Big things coming. Maddie, appreciate you hopping on. It was a pleasure, sir.
Thanks, Maddie.
Loved it, guys. Thank you.
Alan.
Jared.
All right. Have a good week. I'll talk to you next week.